So we're going to do something a bit different. We're going to do an interview with Lorna and Louise about their experience of putting on the Jukebox Cabaret. So I've got a few questions for you. Where did you start when creating the concept for a revue?
Oh, sounds like a question for you, Lorna.
Cheers, thank you. To be honest, this revue I've probably had in my head for years. I absolutely adore the song El Tango de Roxanne. It conjures up a picture to me, and I always thought if I had a chance to do a revue, I'd want to start with that. So I started with that. I worked back, I worked forward, trying to create something that had a thread without writing a musical as such. And it just sort of flowed from there. I listened to other people, what sort of music they'd like and things that they would really love, and little things I picked up, and I thought, oh, I could make that little dream come true for some people.
Yeah, to make it a bit personal.
Yeah, exactly. And then looked at great stuff we've done and stuff I wanted to hear again or wanted to sing again, like Someone You Loved and things like that. Really wanted to do that again. So it was, I would say, from start to finish, it took me about 3.5, 4 months to probably get something. But it's been in my head for years.
And she's really old, so when she says years...
Lots of years. Very lots of years. Thanks.
I'm surprised you're still friends.
We're not.
So you kind of covered it a bit, but were there any songs that you kind of chose in a specific way? Like you've talked about, you tried to pick things that we've done before or ones that people had expressed an interest in doing. Was there anything like else that any other ways that the kind of songs came into play?
There was definitely some that were just favourite songs and things that are from my history. So the very, very first show I ever did was
Again,
South Pacific.
she means Arts Guild history, not her history.
No, I mean my history.
Oh, wow.
I mean my history. I did South Pacific in 1981.
Oh.
Oh yeah. I know you were a baby.
We really need a picture.
I was
of that.
-3, thank you.
So I wanted to put something in there from South Pacific. So there's things like Oh What a Night is one of my favourite all-time songs. I had to get that in somewhere.
Honeybun from South Pacific.
Honeybun from South Pacific. I know it was the worst one I could have chosen, but I wanted it in there. There was things from a couple of songs from Sunshine on Leith. I adore the show. It's Scottish, and I knew somebody would really hate it.
I think as well though, some of the songs, because like you touched on it before, we've done them before.
Yeah.
But we've never done them. So like 2 of them in particular were from the ill-fated, what will now be known as the COVID show, but it was going to be a All You Need Is Love, I think it was called, something to do with love. I should know because I was going to direct it. But it was supposed to be a choral piece to show that Arts Guild actually one of their real strengths is harmony work. We don't always get a chance to kind of stand and sing. It's always shoehorned into a musical, shoehorned into a play. And obviously that show never saw the light of day, so some of those songs we enjoyed doing so much and they sounded really good. So we've rolled them out into concerts or other type things, but they've never really, some of them have never appeared in a show other than the kind of look back show that we did when we kind of did a nod to them. So it was quite nice to give them their place as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then we had Your Wedding Song, which we just was so good. We had to do it again and actually do it with 30 voices rather than just 16, and that's been really special. And then just to throw some oddities in there that we'd never thought about, like Trustful from Pink and stuff like that's like completely out there that we've never done. So yeah, it's a real eclectic mix, I think. Yeah.
Was there anything that you really loved that you couldn't shoehorn in somewhere?
1,000 things. Absolutely. 1,000. If I could have got some ABBA in there, I'd have been in heaven, but I'm not.
No, the real answer is no. All the best ones made it. So you can see the absolute cream of the crop of the crop. I'm terrible with phrases. Cream of the crop.
So we don't get Lorna's near misses then. We only get Lorna's best.
Yeah, so enjoy.
There isn't actually. I don't think there's anything specific that I really wish was in there.
No.
But you could go on forever.
And Louise, did you veto any songs?
Well, it's a loaded question. Did I successfully veto any songs? No. Did I attempt to? Yes. No, there were not quite a few. There were probably 3 or 4 that in the early days I just went, no, either because it's terrible in my view, or because I wasn't sure it lended itself to Arts Guild's voices necessarily. But because Lorna hadn't just picked a bunch of her favourite songs and shoved them together, each one, it became clear to me during the process that each song was there for a reason and for a specific part and played a specific part in the narrative. Clearly towards the end of Act 2 when we just want to, lift the roof, but during the main thrust of it, and certainly Act 1, everything's kind of there for a reason.
It is.
And when I said, not sure about a particular song, the response was, well, what else would go there?
Yeah.
And actually, probably nothing else would go there, and it changed the narrative. And actually, some of the ones, which shall remain nameless, but some of the ones that I thought were a bit dirgy or not quite the right vibe, my challenge was then to make them palatable. Yeah. So putting 9-part harmony in a song that's normally a solo, for example, actually bizarrely then became one of my favourite songs in the show. So it's, as long as you've got the bass there, you can kind of work with it. So no, I think it's all good.
I'm loving how smug Lorna now looks.
I know.
Maybe it was her way, they'd all be in unison Scottish. So
absolutely.
So I did
could have
win.
been a talent.
I did win in some
We
respects.
did, yeah.
So obviously this is a review. Last year we did like a book show, so 9 to 5. Why did we decide to do a review? What drives that difference choice?
Yeah, brutally honest, obviously I'm the MD, but I'm also currently the chair of the society, so I kind of have an insight to the committee. And honest reason is finance. It's getting so hard. Amateur theatre is sadly dying a death in some places, and it's really tricky to keep things going and get bums on seats. And ultimately, you always take a risk with a book show because the overheads are absolutely inordinate, the royalties and everything. So coming off, and we always pick our shows kind of a year in advance. So we've got in fact, recently, sort of even further in advance than that. So you've got to start thinking ahead, and obviously by the time you're picking your next summer show, you don't really have visibility of how the current book show is selling. So we decided to play it safe, and actually as it was, 9 to 5 was so successful that we probably could have done, well in fact we definitely could have done another book show. But with so many amateur societies around us failing, we don't want to take that risk. And so that's the kind of honest answer, but it's not the whole story, I don't think, because actually you still have a lot of overheads with a review, and the downside to doing a book show like 9 to 5 is that you are restricted to the ensemble. 9 to 5 was quite good because there's a lot of opportunity to shoehorn a lot of the other ensemble in. We're a growing society, we've got 30 odd playing members, which is pretty incredible, and actually you want to not only make them feel involved and make them enjoy themselves, but actually showcase, because while someone might not be the best solo singer, they might be a cracking dancer. Someone might be absolutely a brilliant singer, but actually never really gets the chance to work on their acting or whatever it might be. And the beauty of a review is everyone gets their starring role, everyone gets their chance to shine, and that was the big driver from committee was, if we're doing a review, we want to make sure that it's an inclusive ensemble show, because we've not done that for a while, and the obvious place to do that is a review. So even if we had the finances, or even if we'd known we would have had the finances to do a book show, query whether we would have done two on the trot anyway, because it's about community, isn't it? So.
Yeah, definitely. And we've got so many, even great soloists now, and a book show, you've only got so many parts, and then and it's, you feel that we've got more than that.
Yeah.
We could take easily, a good massive majority of our guys are good soloists, and hopefully we're able to really show that this time.
Yeah, it's been nice. Yeah.
So on the other side, what was the process for you, Lorna, to get the review agreed? What did you go through?
When I knew that a review was definitely on the cards, obviously I'd already had something in my head for a wee while, and it was about really working through that and pulling it and making it a show, rather than just like a few little songs that I liked, and I liked the idea of how I would stage them and things. So you have to pull 30 songs, because a review is usually 15 in Act 1, 15, Act 2. I wanted it to have a thread, a link to each song, so you don't feel like you're just like just a song after a song after a song. So we have a pack within committee that's sent out, so I had to put a whole synopsis together for the show. I had to then write all the music, or write down all the different songs I wanted in that show. I had to speak to the musical director.
I was going to say, you definitely wrote the music.
Right, I wrote the song titles down. And then, you know, I had a quick...
He's building a part there.
Yeah, building my part.
You've been doing costumes then?
So then having to like have a chat with Louise, make sure that I wasn't suggesting something that we couldn't get license for or things like that. Talk to the stage manager, make sure we could stage it, work out what staging I was going to do, work out what costumes were going to look like, how the show was going to look. And you have to put all of that down in paper. So you produce this pack that's about 25 pages.
Yeah, so once the committee decide what show they're doing, whether it's pantomime, play, musical, revue, whatever, you ask for interested directors. And then anyone who's interested gets like a blank pack, and then they have to fill it in, and then the committee decides which one makes the cut.
So
you were the lucky one.
I was. It was, I was so nervous. I really, really wanted it, but I had some real stiff competition on this one as well, because there was a couple of other really good ideas there.
Yeah, from a committee perspective, it was a tough one. Tough call to make this time, but and it just means we've got a bank of other budding reviews for the future.
But when you're waiting on the result, you know, and to know if you're getting it, and your musical director messages to tell you that you haven't made it this time, and you're trying to be all magnanimous and nice about it, and go like, oh, that's a shame. Wonder who's got it now.
Sorry, mate. Not successful. I was howling. I know.
She did.
I'm a terrible person.
Yeah, you are.
But you made me put Sunshine and Leeds in a show. So
and Honeybee.
Mind that.
And so then when Louise finally told you that you had actually been chosen, how did you then move forwards, like, with her to then prep, like, what needed to be done for the show?
Brown Cow.
Immediately. Yeah, immediately at Brown Cow.
Not that night, obviously, but very soon.
I mean, I remember it was about 12 o'clock, so they probably wouldn't have let you in.
No, the following
not
day.
that night.
No, most of the good work starts there. No, I think by then, because I think by the time you've put your pack together, you've kind of got the songs down, you know the flow. It's then about, right, okay, how do we hit the ground running, especially from a music perspective. So the struggle with a review is that it doesn't come with a script, it doesn't come with sheet music, it doesn't come with the sort of ready-made resources. So from my perspective, my job was just making sure I knew when a meeting worked out which songs are solos, or which songs are going to be made up of solos, which bits have got harmony work and group work, and then I know instantly that I can work out, right, which are harmony, who's, at that point you don't know exactly who's going to be in it in terms of people's names, but broadly, is this a full company, is this a small group, and then from my perspective, trying to work out which one I need to write harmonies for. So the beauty of this one was we'd got all that work done during the previous show, so rather than kind of working as we went and evolving, which quite often some of the best reviews do work that way, they kind of have a start but they kind of evolve. With this, because of the structure that Lorna had put together for it and the narrative, it was kind of set in stone from the outset, so then it was quite easy then to then pull the script, what we call the script together, and get them all.
Well, you say easy. We literally spent 3 months on that, and I mean the amount of work we both put into it, to be fair, because we actually produced a script for a review, which was it was on Hogmanay, 31st of December.
I mean, New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve. And you actually had it printed and brought it to me bound to the door, and that was just like, oh my god, that's my show.
My work.
And it's like, we're going to do this, but we were able to put in, by that point, we sort of cast it, we knew who was going to do what, we'd spent hours and hours doing that, not just in the Brown Cow, here as well. I think we've had a few, there was a bit of alcohol involved a few times.
You did, that's that way.
Yeah.
But
and a lot of text messaging till about 4 o'clock in the morning, I remember, quite a few occasions.
So at least then about 75% of it is kind of cast, as in,
Yeah.
and then there's obviously you might get new people, you might have people that want
Yeah.
to be challenged in different ways and stuff, so you've got some kind of placeholders, but at least it was good for me because then it meant that when rehearsals opened, the first rehearsal, the entire suite of resources was there, so everyone's harmony lines, everyone's sheet music and stuff, so I think credit to the ensemble then, well, the company, the cast, that actually they've grasped that and hit the ground running, which has made the challenge of learning 30 songs, learning 30 blocking or dances, etc. has kind of really made that smooth, so that's been really good.
It's hopefully given everybody a chance to see the whole flow of a show, because reviews can be difficult to, when you're in the ensemble, to work out, oh, what's next? How do I get from there to there? So it's tried to be useful to actually have that up front.
Yeah.
And we also went out and asked a lot of people, what things do you like doing? We've got some really talented dancers, so it was about really trying to showcase that in this show. Really trying to showcase the solo talents. We've got the duets, we've got the dancing, we've got even some live musical instrument playing in this one. I know.
Spoiler.
Wild. I know. Sorry,
they've already got a programme by now. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's too late. They paid for their ticket.
And they shouldn't be watching this during the show, so in theory they won't watch this till the interval.
No, or in the interval, that's true.
Because we've been talking about it 25 minutes now, so I think we're good.
But yeah, it's hopefully really been inclusive and pushing some boundaries. It's great.
So you talked kind of about some of the challenges. What's been the biggest challenge? Let's go musically.
Did she just say me?
No. It's gone. Musically, the biggest challenge, still Lorna, she opens it. No, you know what, actually, the biggest challenge for me was before we started, because I knew that it was going to be, reviews are always tough, and I think normally when you kind of start, you've kind of got maybe a third of the songs set in stone, and then the piece evolves as people join, and it kind of takes its own course. But because this was a bit different, I thought people are going to get overwhelmed when they see 30 songs, even though every review has 30 songs, and people have then got the resources, and they've got it, and especially because not everybody's in everything, we wanted to make sure everybody had some materials we're going at from the outset, even if we weren't necessarily starting with those pieces. So my biggest challenge was the kind of challenge I set myself was before December, because obviously I was in the panto. Remember Linda? And I wanted to be able to focus on that in December. So I set myself the challenge of making sure that all the harmonies were written, all the music was down, all the sheet music was done, everything was done by the end of November. So actually musically for me, the challenge was the prep, not actually.
Absolutely. And
the rest
everything
of
was on Dropbox as well.
Yeah.
Everything was ready and it was all there, the resources.
The rest have been quite plain sailing actually musically.
Until Lorna started deleting stuff and then.
Until Lorna learned that she could press stuff on Dropbox, but I've fixed that by.
I'm not allowed to touch Dropbox.
By view only.
I am not allowed to touch
Lorna thinks she's got Dropbox, but she's got a separate folder that's on it that she can access.
I do know that, to be fair. I do actually know I've got Lorna's folder, because if I delete it, it doesn't matter out in here. I'm not good. I can't even record something at rehearsals. It's really poor. That's probably been my biggest challenge.
Apart from the tech challenges, what's your biggest challenge been on stage?
I would say staging on this show, 100%. We have a cast of 30, which is huge, and we have the smallest stage in the world. Our stage is tiny. We have no wings. If anybody's actually ever seen backstage, it is tiny. And 30 people on that stage looks really, really, really crowded, really cluttered. So it's been able to have everybody there and actually still everybody be seen, and make sure people are still involved in it, but maybe not necessarily just straight on stage. Obviously I've extended the stage slightly with the thrust, but then that throws up another challenge because you don't get the thrust. Fortunately we got it 3 weeks before we actually opened, which was amazing.
Yeah, usually you don't get it until the tech rehearsal 2 days before.
I know.
So when half your stage is effectively missing, and you're trying to sort out blocking, that's really tough.
Really
or
great.
Your entire ruler, in your case.
Yeah. No, we're not talking about the show that Charlotte been in.
No.
You survived. That's say that.
Hopefully there's no need for anyone to fall off this one.
Why would you say that?
Well, I'm putting barriers round. They won't get falling off. There's going to be...
Curtains, not barriers. Handrails.
No, I've got this lighting coming along the front of it.
So they'll bring some lights in as they
Oh,
fall
this
off.
is true, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so
so
when
what-
this is played back after repeatedly people have fallen off the
I'm
stage.
really hoping this ages well. Let's
Yeah,
put it that
this
way.
is going on there.
The other
Well,
thing
you're gonna
is,
get a list.
we did want to really break through on some dancing, and because we have some really talented dancers in this show, and we were going to do some lifts, which sounds really easy.
No, wait, not we. Again, if this gets played
Yeah.
back after a disaster,
Wasn't
not we.
us. No. No.
It was her.
Yeah. Of course. But we have no height on the stage, so then,
Yeah,
and that
no
also
clearance.
meant that when it came to lighting and things like that, I had to say, please, we can't have anything hanging down or anything because we've got people going up there. And that, so these things, that was definitely the biggest challenge, I would say,
Yeah.
staging this show. Huge.
So from the hard stuff, what's been the highlight so far? Go on, Lorna, you go first.
Oh God, the highlight. Do you know, there's been so many, but it's been wonderful when I've actually seen some of the, because this is in my head and it's been in my head for such a long time. I know exactly what I want it to look like and sound like. But when I've heard some of the solo singing and things like that, and it's the first time I'm actually hearing these songs sung by our guys, and it's like, how many times have I cried? It's like I'm listening, I'm like, oh my God. They are, we've got such a talented cast, we really have, and listening to that, so definitely seeing that come together, and then it's been amazing. Up to, but not talking about seeing the script, that was massive. It was like so much work. I'm so proud of that script. Can I get mine back, please?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, apart from obviously the fact that you now like Sunshine on Leaf, what are your other highlights?
I like my version.
The non-Scottish version.
What has been my heart? I really liked those few weeks when I was at Leeds Grand Theatre doing Limmers. No, I'm kidding. No,
Thanks.
no, joking. I think it's the same actually, because the work that went in kind of front end.
Yeah.
Normally, when you start teaching a harmony, I've only written it 3 days before. I've put it on Dropbox on the Monday and hoped to goodness that someone actually manages to listen to it on the Wednesday. But actually, because it's all been front loaded this time, coming to the first rehearsal and going, well, not the first rehearsal, but the first time you do each song, saying, right, let's just have a quick blast through, and hearing 80% of it already there, sung back at you, that you probably wrote 6 months previously, for example, and hearing it and going, oh, that works actually, and that's been really rewarding for me, and then all the extra little nuances that people naturally put into it, just kind of lifting it up to that next level. It's been really good.
And finally, sum up your experience so far in 3 words each. I'll give you 3 each, not 1.5.
Oh.
Is this? Oh, it's children's show as well, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah, I can't. I'd say the show is inclusive, massively inclusive. I'm really proud of that. This is 2 words,
Go on then.
but I would say from a WAG point of view, it's groundbreaking. We're doing things in the
You
show.
do
we've never-
groundbreaking in one word.
I was going to say
Oh,
it's got a hyphen.
Yeah,
It's got a
that's
hyphen.
right.
Excellent.
You're not getting out of that. The third one. Give me some more thinking time.
Nice try though.
And in all honesty, I think it's entertaining. I think it's really, really entertaining. I would say that. I wrote it. Let's just hope it works.
So my 3 words. What about bar open? Is that 1 word? No.
No.
That's 2 words.
2 words, you've only got 1 more to find.
In. No. I'm going to steal Lorna's and say inclusive.
Yeah.
Showcase is or showcasing, if that's the word. Because actually a lot of people have had been invited and accepted to step out of their comfort zone a bit and do some stuff that maybe some solos that they wouldn't normally get, or wouldn't normally get the opportunity to do, some lifts that might not be, that kind of stuff. It's I think showcase in people's talent. And short? No. Inclusive. Showcase. You can tell this wasn't rehearsed, can't you?
Yeah.
inclusive, showcasing, and what's the word when there's a load of different things like smushed together and you think
Eclectic.
no, that's polite. No, like you like a really like random. I'm gonna go random. I am gonna go random because I think if you look, I don't know if there is gonna be a song list in the program, but presumably there is. But you kind of look at that on paper, as I did when Lorna presented to me at 4 o'clock in the morning. How do you get from Roxanne to private dancer? How do you get from that to and it's quite a random selection of songs. But it works, in my opinion.
It works.
Well, hopefully the audience will agree with you.
Hopefully, yeah. I just hope everybody enjoys it.
What's the words of the last show from Dolly Parton? If you enjoyed it, tell everyone.
Yeah,
If you didn't, keep your mouth shut.
Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.